Gunnar found Ashley in the workshop, surrounded by the familiar clatter of gear and equipment. She was organizing supplies for their next mission, her movements deliberate and efficient, a rhythm she'd perfected over countless assignments. The pack had been making some significant changes recently, particularly their decision to work more closely with Homeland Security. That shift had solidified the need for a stronger unified front, and Gunnar knew that extending their inner circle was inevitable. But this time, he had someone unexpected in mind: Eli. As Gunnar approached, Ashley glanced up, already aware of his presence before he even spoke. There was a knowing look in her eyes, a silent acknowledgement of the weight that lingered between them. She could sense the seriousness of the conversation to come, the decision that had been brewing for a while. "You busy?" Gunnar asked, though he knew she would always make time for a talk like this. Ashley set down the gear she had been working on and leaned against the table. "What's on your mind?" "We've made a lot of changes lately," Gunnar began, his voice steady but thoughtful. "Stepping into new territory with Homeland Security. It's been good for us. But it's time we start thinking about making the pack stronger, more connected." Ashley raised an eyebrow, waiting for him to get to the point. "I'm talking about Eli," Gunnar continued. "I think it's time we bring her into the pack." Ashley paused, her gaze sharpening as she processed the proposal. The pack had always been more than a tactical unit. It was family, a bond forged through trust, loyalty, and battle-hardened camaraderie. Bringing Eli, an elf, into that sacred circle was unprecedented, and Ashley knew the decision wasn't one to take lightly. "She's proven herself," Ashley said carefully. "No doubt about that. But you're right. This isn't just a tactical decision. This is family. If we bring her in, it has to be for the right reasons, not just because she's useful in a fight." Gunnar nodded, appreciating her caution. The pack wasn't something you could just walk into. It required a level of commitment and understanding that went beyond shared missions. "She's stood by us, Ash," he said, his tone resolute. "She's opened portals, saved our skins more times than I can count, and shown loyalty when it mattered most. She might not be a wolf, but she's got a heart that understands what we're about. If we bring her in, I think she'd honor the pack just as much as any of us." Ashley considered Eli's quiet strength, her unwavering determination, and the way she had seamlessly become a part of their team. The elf had earned her place, there was no doubt about that. But the pack was more than a team. It was an unbreakable bond, a lifetime commitment. To bring Eli in meant trusting her with their deepest secrets and vulnerabilities. "She's already proven she has our backs," Ashley agreed after a moment of reflection. "I think it's time to offer her membership. She deserves to know that she fully belongs here, not just as part of the team, but as part of the pack." A smile tugged at the corners of Gunnar's lips, relief washing over him. He knew how monumental this decision was, and having Ashley's support meant everything. Inviting Eli into the pack would mark a historic moment, but it was also a necessary step toward expanding their unity beyond their familiar boundaries. "Then we'll move forward," Gunnar said, his voice lighter now. "Let's prepare for her induction ceremony. I think she's going to be surprised, but in the best way." Ashley grinned. "Yeah, she won't see this coming." Together they began making plans for Eli's induction. It would be an honor she had more than earned, and when she joined the pack, Gunnar knew she would bring something unique: her strength, her wisdom, and her unwavering loyalty. Eli wasn't just another ally, she was family, and soon the pack would be whole in a way they had never been before. The pack gathered in the heart of the workshop, the mood a blend of excitement and gravity. Around the table sat Karina, Jewel, Alex, Ashley, Desira, and Bianca, each with their spirit animals close by. The dire wolves, Alpha and Beta, lay beside Ashley and Gunnar, their massive forms radiating both strength and calm. Gunnar took a breath before speaking, his gaze steady as he looked each member in the eye. "We're here today to discuss inviting Eli to join the pack." He let the words sink in, noting the thoughtful expressions around the table. She's proven herself more than capable and loyal. I believe it's time we make her one of us. Karina was the first to break the silence. Eli's presence has been nothing but a benefit, she said, her tone firm. She may not be one of us in the traditional sense, but she's got the heart of a warrior. I think her joining would strengthen us, make us more adaptable. Besides, if it weren't for portals, we'd have been in a lot more tight spots. Jewel leaned forward, her eyes warm. She's kind, and she's got a good head on her shoulders. There's a sense of calm she brings, you know? I think that could be invaluable, especially when things get rough. Alex gave a short nod. She might not be a wolf, but that shouldn't matter. What matters is her loyalty, and she's proven that over and over. If anything, having an elf might just be what we need to bring a fresh perspective. Ashley glanced down at Beta, resting a hand on the dire wolf's head as she spoke. I trust her. She's earned it. She's saved my hide more times than I care to count, and I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for her. As far as I'm concerned, she's already pack. Bianca smiled softly. I think having Eli with us would be an honor. She's got wisdom and power, but she's also got heart. And that's what we need most. There was a pause as the pack shared a look, a silent understanding passing between them. They knew Eli's membership would break tradition, but it would also bring new strength and unity to their family. All right then, Gunnar said, nodding as if finalizing a decision. He called out into the hallway, and, moments later, Eli stepped into the room. Her brown hair caught the light, and there was a flicker of curiosity in her bright blue eyes as she took in the scene. She looked to Gunnar, then Ashley, sensing the significance of the moment. Eli, Gunnar began, his voice warm but steady. We've been talking. You've proven yourself time and again. You've stood with us through some of the toughest moments we've faced. We'd like to invite you to become a part of the pack. Eli's eyes widened, surprise and emotion mingling on her face. She looked around the table, the weight of their words settling on her shoulders. I don't know what to say, she managed, a small smile breaking through. This is more than I ever expected. I've always felt like I belonged here, but I never imagined you'd consider me family in this way. Ashley stepped forward, placing a reassuring hand on Eli's shoulder. You've more than earned it, Eli. We've watched you, fought beside you, and trusted you with our lives. If you're willing, we'd be honored to call you one of our own. Eli's smile grew, her face lighting up as she nodded, visibly moved. It would be my honor, she said, her voice soft but filled with conviction. I've long admired the strength and unity you all share. To be part of that, to be part of the pack, it would mean everything to me. Around her, the pack members smiled, their faces bright with approval. They had forged a new bond, one that would only grow stronger with time. Together they would face whatever lay ahead, secure in the knowledge that they were now one family. The pack gathered at twilight within the ancient courtyard at the center of the workshop grounds. The space, built from stone older than memory, was open to the sky, where the first stars were beginning to appear. Around the perimeter, flickering torches cast dancing shadows on the walls, illuminating the symbols and runes carved by long-forgotten hands. Eli stood in the middle of the courtyard, her brown hair catching the light as she looked around, sensing the weight of history surrounding her. She felt the presence of the pack members as they encircled her, forming a ring that was both protective and inviting. The wolves, Alpha and Beta, stood at either end of the circle, their eyes steady and knowing. Gunnar stepped forward, holding a small silver dagger with a carved wooden handle. He spoke, his voice reverberating through the quiet night. Eli, you have chosen to walk with us, to fight beside us, and to protect us as we protect you. Becoming part of the pack is a commitment that goes beyond friendship. It's a bond that ties us together, not just as allies, but as family. He held out the dagger to Eli, the hilt toward her. By accepting this, you pledge to honor our code, to protect your brothers and sisters, and to uphold the strength and unity that makes us who we are. Are you ready to join the pack? Eli took the dagger with steady hands, meeting Gunner's gaze. Yes, she replied, her voice firm. I pledge to honor the pack, to stand with you, and to give my all to protect those I now call family. Ashley stepped forward, carrying a small bowl filled with a dark, fragrant liquid. She nodded to Eli and Gunner, then dipped her fingers into the bowl, pulling them back stained with the liquid, a mixture of herbs and ash, part of an ancient ritual passed down through generations. Each new member receives a mark of the pack, Ashley explained. It binds us, linking us to each other and to those who came before. It's a reminder that we are more than ourselves. We are part of something greater. Eli held out her right hand, and Ashley gently marked the back of her palm with a rune. The coolness of the mixture sent a shiver up Eli's arm as Ashley traced the symbol for unity and strength, a simple, elegant design that carried deep meaning. The rest of the pack members stepped forward in turn, each pressing their own marked hand against Eli's, transferring a piece of themselves to her, one by one, until the circle was complete. Karina, Jewel, Alex, Desera, Bianca, and the others each shared a moment with her, their silent gestures conveying acceptance and trust. Finally, Clara approached with a small vial. She uncorked it and poured a few drops into the bowl, releasing a smoky, musky scent. This is essence of spirit root, she explained. Its scent binds us not only in body but in spirit, connecting us to our animal companions and the land. Eli inhaled deeply, feeling a warmth spread through her chest. The spirit root seemed to ignite a connection deep within her, a sense of belonging that went beyond the physical world. She could feel Alpha and Beta's presence even more strongly, a silent strength radiating from them as they acknowledged her as one of their own. As the final part of the ceremony, Gunner raised his hand, signaling to the others. The pack released a deep, resonant howl, their voices melding into one powerful sound that echoed into the night sky. Eli joined them, her voice adding a new note to the chorus, a bright, almost ethereal tone that seemed to harmonize perfectly with the wolves' deep calls. When the howl faded, a profound silence settled over the courtyard. Eli stood surrounded by her new family, feeling a deep sense of peace and purpose. Gunner stepped forward, his face warm with approval. "Welcome to the pack, Eli," he said, resting a hand on her shoulder. "You are one of us now." The others closed in, embracing Eli, welcoming her with open arms and smiles that spoke of acceptance and trust. They stayed there for a time, laughing and sharing stories, basking in the bond they had strengthened that night. The pack was whole, and together they would face whatever the world brought their way.
Well, you found your way to the end, haven't you? That must mean you're curious, and we love curiosity around here. Before you vanish into the ether, take a moment to subscribe. It's just a click, and trust me, you'll want to stay in the loop for what comes next. And while you're at it, give the video a like. The energy exchange is good for you. Hit that notification bell too. You wouldn't want to miss out on any of our magical misadventures. Who knows what I might conjure up next? Alright, off you go. But remember, I'll know if you didn't subscribe. See you on the other side.